Really need to set up this Macbook. This is what I really need to do. Alright, well. Why is this so shaky today? I'm gonna probably put a leg up over here in the middle at some, probably tomorrow or something to stop this shaking from happening. I got a 2x4 somewhere around here. Just give it a little more rigidity. Make it a bit easier. Okay. Let's get to work now that we have actually cleaned up our bench a bit. Made things a little bit easier, a little bit cleaner. Need to add a few more monitors over here at some point. Really, I need to buy like fucking 30 monitors for my day trading machine as well. But that is not that important, so. this program? I have to flash something really quickly, and I cannot find. There you are. Get your ass over here. Okay. Connected. I did not plug that in down there. Alright. So when you are in a USB 3.0 port, and now let's update your database. Alright. Okay, so we'll find a new spot for this, but that does provide a nice, clean, easy way to move this here out of the way and give me a more working space. Oh shit, Amanda texted me like an hour ago, and I didn't see it because my phone was dead. That's not good.
Some of my favorite puppy pose variations to warm up the shoulders, chest, and upper spine. This one's also known as dragon pose and feels as good as it looks. Binding in the arms is a test of your shoulder flexibility and definitely works. Some of my favorite puppy pose variations to warm up the shoulders, chest, and upper spine.
The fuck? How's everybody doing today? Or you, or whoever, however many people are in here, whatever. This thing never is actually like, the viewers I'm finding is, never, what it should be. It is what I'm seeing. Get rid of all these random bullshit. What an interesting game. Alright. Just bear with me, I gotta flash this this iPad really quick and get this taken care of. Oh, what are you? Interesting. That's cool. It's about time they added some new stuff here. Okay, so I can do Air 1s now, Mini 2s and Mini 3s. Okay, that's what's up. Alright, now that that is done, where's this iPad? Hope everyone's Sunday is going well. It has been fun. Maybe relaxing. Just a little bit outside of your normal day. Oh, son of a bitch. That's a long ass MAC address. Holy guacamole. Alright. Almost done. This kid's a fucking retard. Jesus Christ. This isn't even. Jesus Christ. I hate this customer. Like, it's not even eligible for what? I just wasted my fucking time. I despise this customer. Just they are one of the worst. What's going on, Drew? Easily one of the worst shops around here. It's kind of crazy. But people buy it. People go to them. So can't really do much about that. All right. can we figure this out? Multimeter. And let's get some fucking shit fixed today. What's going on, man? Need to get this. Need to get this thing done for my customer. Their customer is being a bit of a douchebag, so. You know what I can do, just to be sure. I'm pretty sure I had those. Oh, seriously, that's why? Is that a fucking crack in the backlight? No, that's a hair. That's why. I could have sworn that those were fucking different. I could have had this thing fixed that night. Son of a fucking bitch. I don't really know, to be honest. You'd have to set something. Give me a few days and let me think about how I would handle that, because when we do training, it's a full week, so it's 5 days, 8 hours a day, and basically you have my full attention for those 8 hours. It can be kind of grueling, to be honest, as a lot of it is going to be sitting down and doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're going to get taught a lot of the basics. When you leave, you'll be able to do BGA work, QFN work. I mean, you're not going to, I can't teach somebody how to do iPhone X work and sandwich reballs and stuff like that in a week, but you'll be able to reball at least chips and stuff like that. So I don't really know, to be honest. So give me a few days, let me think about how to set it up. Come on. Oh god, I hate these diodes, man. It's more just like the size of them on the board. Tweezers, it is a pain in the bollocks. Please, just go right there and stay right there. And this coil right next to it makes it a little difficult as well. Alright, so we're going to start up a little bit higher. Give this solder a chance to melt, and nope, we're not, because it's just every single time it blows away, even with the flux there. So, okay, you want to be a bitch, then that's it. Man, Arizona really needs to choose if it's going to be hot or cold, because this unstable weather we have going on here. Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. Especially when you're first starting. Oh yeah, you're gonna blow fucking everything away. Chips, everything. Everything. It still happens all the time. I'd be going to harvest something and it's, it's a tiny little capacitor. And it's small, man. Your tweezers move a millimeter with how small those components are, and that cap is gone. That filter, fuse, resistor, whatever it is. So, honestly, it's yeah, it happens all the time. 1 degree there. Honestly, so I prefer the cold because you can always put clothes on, right? But it gets to a point at when it's hot that you can't really take a whole lot off. That's kind of how I've always felt about that. Alright, so now this should work. Yes. Yeah, we have, I have bins. I have a lot of bins. So, let me see, yeah, all of these. So, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7, 8, 8 bins here. Most of them are all labeled. So, these ones are 40 bins each, so 40, 80. This one here is something like 50 or 60 with some larger ones. This yellow one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 64 there. And they're all mostly filled with stuff. So the way that I do it is I have a Google spreadsheet. We go through and we label all of the bins a number, and each one of the containers a number. And then in the Google spreadsheet, it's all numbered down for each one of the bins. And then we'll put what the component is, what the values for that component are, and including up to like what various issues that it helps resolve. So like audio chips for an iPhone 7 Plus, right? We know that this goes to a 7 Plus, an 8 Plus, the various models. Sometimes we'll go through and add the models to it as well. So just stuff like that. That's what I found is easiest, is to just have a guide, a key, and pull it all up that way. And when you do it that way, it's also PDF searchable, or searchable, and that's the real key. There is that with how all of the different things that we work on, there's a lot of different things that I have to have in stock at all times. Almost every phone uses a different micro USB port or a different legged USB-C port and stuff like that. So like that yellow 64-bin is just completely filled with ports for various phones or tablets and stuff like that. HDMI ports for consoles and okay. That's cool. So I really despise Amazon drivers, man. I really despise them. Like, my door is open. I even have the open sign flipped over. The lights are on in here, and this fucking retard decides that he's gonna put it outside my business. Like, I swear. Literally, right here. He could have just opened the door. Right outside my front door. He could have just opened the fucking door and put it in on my front counter or, you know, anywhere. But no. Let's just leave it outside. Whatever. I don't understand. The fuck? I don't know what the fuck this is, but okay. This is what I'm after. I mean, the joints could be better, but let's see how it goes. Like in what, like streaming hours or business hours? For streaming hours, honestly, I don't have a set schedule, and we probably never will. Just because, right, our stream's a lot different than a normal, say, like video game stream and stuff like that. We stream while we're here at work. We're not really playing video games and stuff like that. You know, we'll be randomly muted for 20 minutes, you know, at a time, whatever, while we're handling customers or answering the phones or discussing various things I need Jacob to do around the shop or, you know, him contacting customers, stuff like that, so. All right, so, and we got more shipping labels, awesome. What is this, 220 per roll, perfect. 880 shipping labels, 27 bucks, and now we don't have to worry about it. No ink. I'll always be able to ship out my packages when I need to without relying on a fucking printer. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, now that this stuff is done, I need to find a spot for these boards, these other USB-C boards, breakout boards in case this one breaks. We'll do that later. I'm gonna test out this iPad and then move on to working on something else. Started the stream a bit later than I wanted to today, but I came in and I really wanted to clean up my desk and organize it, and I made a bunch of modifications to my fume extractor. I kind of took apart two of the fume extractors that I have here and combined the best parts of both of them, as well as upgraded the power circuits and made sure that the actual fan itself that causes the suction was able to withstand it. But we turned it from 12 volts up to 24 volts and effectively doubled the amount of suction that it's able to take care of, and then added a stronger nozzle that has an LED ring light on it as well. So that was fun. Cool. Alright, so this board is fixed. My customer will be happy. It gets the fuck out of here. And he can get that customer off his back, so that's the important part. So and you can see, I mean, this is an iPad, right? This isn't I mean, no one is going to lose their fucking life if their iPad isn't functioning properly. But to these people, apparently, this specific customer, it is the end of their life not having their iPad. So. Alright, we can go put this here back over there. This is much more of a long-term repair, trying to figure out what's up with this iPad Air 3 charging circuit, but with no real information available and how busy we are, it makes it kind of hard to actually get to it in the amount of time that I would want to. So, alright, I guess I will take care of this right here. Alright, well, we're going to do this one. That's what we'll do. Where's the paperwork? Okay, so this here is from a local shop that outsources to us. They're a computer repair shop, and they bring us a decent amount of MacBooks. So we like MacBooks around here. MacBooks are good money makers, and we're always happy to have more MacBooks. So this is a A1398. It is a 17-inch MacBook Pro motherboard. This is a 820-3332-A motherboard. And it looks like the notes from their technician here say that, give me a second, let me just put this screw back in here. The issue is tech installed the battery, now no display. Let's see, Jacob has gone through and has done some testing on it. So we get green and orange light on the charger, both with and without the battery plugged in. So the one wire circuit is A-OK there, but we have no HDMI external display, whether the even if the LCD is unplugged, we have no display there. We do have fan spin, we do have chime, and the caps light lock does light up. Now the important thing with the caps lock light, what that tells me is that the CPU is okay on this machine. If you have for the most part, and I mean this isn't a a guaranteed rule type thing, but for the most part, in a MacBook, if your caps lock light does not light up, and it's not your keyboard, you don't have like a keyboard issue and stuff like that, for the most part, if it doesn't light up, you have a dead CPU. It's unfortunate, it sucks, but it's kind of a quick way, really quick, that we do on testing to check and see. If we go through and it at least gives me a hint, right? Like, oh man, the caps lock doesn't light up. We have fan spin, we have green light, but we have no caps lock. It could indicate a dead CPU, and we use that a lot more on the newer USB-C machines and stuff like that, where their fans don't tend to not kick on until the actual operating temperature of the machine reaches a certain temperature. So you can't really use fan spin on that. And then there are MacBooks now without fans, right? The 12-inch MacBook that has no fans, things like that. So caps lock, that's why that's important, is no caps lock light can point to a dead CPU, and it gives us just more hints and more things for me to look at. And it's just something very simple. You just press a button, and if it lights up, awesome. If it doesn't, well, that's not awesome. So I'm gonna pull this board really quickly, and then we'll get this guy fixed. Hope everyone's day is going well. It is a pretty nice day out here in Tempe, Arizona. It's not super hot. It is not cold. It is kind of right in between. It was nice enough that the wife took the kids to the park and they got to play outside for a couple hours without sweaters, so when they can do that, that's always nice. But then there are times that it gets too hot to even go outside, and that's not very nice. At least here in Arizona. Tell you what, it doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees and 100 and, fucking 90% humidity or 120, it is fucking hot. Each has their own shitty things about it. I was born and raised in Massachusetts, so I know all about humidity and 90 degree humidity, 90 degrees plus high humidity. I've lived in, this is my 10th year in Arizona, and we'll say that for the most part I do prefer the dry heat. It's easier to deal with than the humidity, as I know I did not ever really enjoy being sopping wet and sweating and just feeling 3 minutes after leaving the shower and drying off. But when that sun at 120 degrees is beating down on you and you're in a car, let me tell you, that when I first moved out here, I had it was a 1996 Mercedes. I couldn't even really remember. I got the thing for retarded cheap, but it had no AC. And that summer, there was one day that it was like 122 outside. And I'm sitting in the car on the corner of Guadalupe and the 101, and that red light took forever. Man, it took forever, and there has never been a time since that I seriously considered running a red light. And if somebody T-boned me, fuck it. If I T-boned somebody, fuck it. It was, I tell you what, the ability to think was gone. It was horrible, and we'll never, ever, ever not have AC in Arizona again. To a point that if I even recommend to people when they move out here that you should go immediately and get a auto start in your car, a remote start in your car, so that you can run your AC for about 5 to 10 minutes before you even get in the car. Or else, the second you open that door, let me tell you, it's literally like opening an oven. It is literally like opening an oven. This MacBook here is a bit. Let me see if I'll turn the camera or something. There we go. This MacBook is a pain in the ass. There's a lot of screws in this MacBook, a whole lot of screws. So just bear with me while I get this board pulled. I'm pretty confident I already know the issue with this machine. It is a very common issue with this machine. And we will go over it as soon as I have this board pulled. bastard also has like 40 million cables. Some that are hidden pretty, and not so much hidden, but some that are just very, very, very easy to miss. Is this, did they glue this battery down already? Is this already adhered down? Unfortunately it is. That kind of sucks, but that's okay. This board does have a very, very common signature fault on it. Alright. If you're just tuning into the stream, if you like what you see, we'd appreciate it if you would hit that follow button. Every little bit helps. If you have learned something here and you would like to thank us or show some support, we would always, of course, appreciate it. Any sort of subscribe to us or donate to our annual backpack drive. We've been doing this for about 2 years now. And every year we go out and buy a bunch of backpacks and school supplies and hand them out to low-income families as a way to give back to our community. And I grew up very poor. I know what it's like to have to wear hand-me-downs to school on the first day of school or not have new clothes. And we want to do our part. So every dollar in that regards goes a very long way to a kid in need. And to be perfectly frank, we would very much rather you support that backpack drive than subscribe to the channel. I don't need the money, they do. And we will probably be taking any money that does come from subscriptions from the channel and just adding that to it. I generally every year will spend about $3,000, and so this year I've put $1,000 in. I received a $15 independent donation from a friend of mine, so I updated that, and hopefully we can, we got quite a few days before we go through and actually start buying the supplies and things like that. Well over 100 days, so it's at 142 days, something like that. It's the end of June. The end of June, I think, is what I have it set to, because that gives us some time. So we see some water damage here. This might not be the series here at the SMC, the System Management Controller, System Master Controller, however you choose to say it, does the same thing either way. So we are going to get that cleaned up. And we can see some of these traces are a little gunky. We'll probably remove the edge bonding off this SMC and give it a nice little reflow, make sure that there's no corrosion stuck under it. I do need to buy a good ultrasonic cleaner. That is one thing that I've been sorely lacking, and a lot of that is just because honestly, for a long time we actually didn't get any MacBooks in. It was really strange. When I first started doing this, we got some in. I won't say quite a few, but I mean a decent amount. And then for like 2 years, it was just boom, gone. And then when I was first starting out, I spent money on a ton of other machines and stuff like that, so I did not, I bought a cheaper ultrasonic cleaner. It does have sweep into gas function, but now it's old. She's very old. I've actually been using it for resin, for my resin 3D printing, to ultrasonic those and get any remaining uncured residue off of them before it goes through the final curing process. I could clean it and toss boards in it if I wanted to. But in reality, I would like to, I need to just buy a Crest. I need to buy a really good ultrasonic cleaner. But for the size that we actually need it to be, it's anywhere from like $1,200 to like $2,500, and it's not an investment we are ready to make just yet. So will be one thing here soon. Your RAM modules. So these are all the RAM modules. There are quite a few on this board. Now, RAM is replaceable on these boards. If one of these modules were to go bad, I could replace it. I've done some on a MacBook Air. A buddy of mine actually has done. He pulled some Chromebook. Yeah, they use pretty much the same RAM on some Chromebooks, and he actually pulled a module off of a Chromebook and put it onto the MacBook Air, and it worked just fine, no issues. So, if you did not know that, the soldered-on RAM modules on these boards are replaceable and upgradable. So if you have a machine that, see, we have even more here, and this is what makes this, like, this machine here, right? This board would not be eligible for a RAM upgrade, because to actually go through and to upgrade it, I believe these are 1 gig each stick, whatever, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 16 here, so. And then we also have some on the other side, so that it may even be fucking half gig sticks. I don't know, I haven't done any actual, pulled up this guy right here and checked it out. But this is a 16 gig board, I'm pretty sure. So, but on the newer MacBooks that have like 4 RAM modules, those there, as long as you can get some good RAM, it is most certainly upgradable. You can turn a 16 gig to a 32 gig or 64 gig, that type of thing. It is possible, so. Alright. Hey, what's going on, man? This is a 17-inch MacBook Pro. It's a A1398, and the board number is 8203332. This here has come to us because it has no, the note says tech installed battery, now no display. And we do have a green and orange light on the charger, both with and without the battery plugged in, as per Jacob's notes. It does not have a external display when you plug in the HDMI port. It does not mirror to it, and that's with the LCD unplugged and plugged in. It does fan spin, it does chime, and we do have light on the caps lock key, so the CPU is in good working order. Oh, that sucks. That super sucks. Yeah, man, some of these big ones they're so expensive. Where we work on so many, oh, let me move this over, sorry about that. Where we work on so many different things, some boards really tiny, some boards really large, like these PlayStation 4 boards. Let me see. I'll show you guys some size. If you don't work on this stuff and you are curious. So we have, this here is a PlayStation 4 motherboard, right? This here is the 17-inch MacBook Pro motherboard. Let me pull this out a little bit. So you can see, I mean, this guy here is so much wider. This guy's a little bit longer. If we were to take the, right, so let's go from like the top, there we go. It's just a little, they're about the same length, I guess, from top to bottom. But this guy here, right, we could fit pretty much 2 boards on there. Every now and then we get some liquid damaged PlayStations and stuff like that. That would be really nice to toss into an ultrasonic cleaner. Mainly for after repair. If you tune into the channel and prior the past like weekish or so, and in the in the future, in the coming, as long as we continue to stream, you'll see that when we encounter something that is liquid damaged, we will generally go through. We will identify what the issue is, replace, fix, right, and then actually do the cleaning. We don't ultrasonic a board. You never want to really ultrasonic a board before working on it. And that goes across kind of no matter how bad the corrosion is on it. Because what you're doing is you're washing away all your hints. You're actually making your life just a wee bit harder by doing so. So, okay. Now this board here does have a really common issue with it. Let me pull up Flex Board View. Oh, you know what I haven't done? I haven't tried to open up any of these board view files for MacBooks in Eagle, and I think I'm gonna try that at some point in time. What? Excuse you. Oh, I see. I think is it because there we go. All right, so we got the schematics up. We have our board view up. And go to the back of the board, and we are looking for this guy right here. Can I change view? Thank you. There we go. And actually, I even want. There we go. All right. So the back side of the motherboard. Oh. I'll just do this here really quickly. Just a little bit larger. Okay, so U8900 is the... Where's Flex Board View? Oh, there it is. I'm dumb. Here we go. So this here is what we are working with here. Why are you... What do you mean? Come on, schematics. Fucking search it. Okay, schematics apparently don't want to... it's because it decided to pull the I/O board schematics. Okay, whatever. So this here, oh man, I believe this is... power switcher. It's something. For the life of me, I can't remember exactly the purpose of this thing, but it does handle GPU, right? So GFX gate right there. This here is going to be the cause, more than likely the cause of our no image on this machine. U8900 can cause quite a few. It can cause quite a few different things, and its failure can present itself in many different ways. Being that it can crash your system, where it'll allow no power. It will sometimes, most of the time, it'll boot up and it'll work for a while, and then your display will just black out. And say you're watching a YouTube video or a movie or something, you'll still be able to continue to hear the audio. It prevents the image from being mirrored up to a display should you plug in the HDMI port, things like that. So generally, the IC itself does not go bad. I don't think I've ever actually had to replace a U8900. But what happens is the solder balls tend to crack, is what happens. So let me do this and get rid of this. Smaller again. All right. These are some of the way better joints that I've seen on U8900. What we're going to do is we're going to give this do what we would normally do on a U8900 repair really quickly, and then we will test the machine, see if we have image, and then we'll come back and clean up the liquid damage that's down there by the SMC. Remember, use a lot of flux. Flux doesn't hurt anything. Oh, now, the thing with flux, and if you guys, those of you who have been watching, and if you're new to the channel, we always clean up flux, always, 100% of the time. We take the time to clean up the flux that we use. If a prior technician has worked on it, we will make sure that we clean up anything that they have done, any of their residue, the whole shebang. We're a repair shop. This is what we do for a living. We're professionals. And in that, we try to ensure that we hold ourselves to a high standard when it comes to fixing this type of stuff. Due to there not being any real regulations in this industry, we decide to kind of uphold our own. And the big thing about flux is now, even if it's no clean flux, all of the flux that we use every day is no clean flux. Now, flux is not conductive. That's something that some people will they'll get these two things mixed up. Now, you have capacitive and you have conductive. Now, flux is not conductive. Flux meaning, and what that means is that should there be a bead of flux from right here that touches right here, it is not going to connect these two things, right? It's not conductive. Now, but it is capacitive in the terms of similar to a capacitor where it will store and it can hold power. That is the big thing of why you really don't want to leave flux underneath these chips, especially say on a Macbook motherboard where it handles considerably more power than an iPhone or a Nintendo Switch and things like that. You don't want to mess with these systems, especially on things like your CPU V-core line, things like that. You don't want them to be anything outside of spec. And that is why it is imperative to always clean up your flux. Outside of just being professionals and being, doing good work and all of that type of stuff, it is because it is capacitive, not conductive, capacitive. And we don't want to be doing that to these machines. It's not something that we want to do. I am going to be working on getting a better camera as well for the microscope. One that has a wider field of view, closer to what I see in the microscope. Now that it won't be, to be honest, for a while. I mean, depending on the support from the stream and stuff like that. Could happen sooner, but a ultrasonic cleaner is most certainly higher on the priority list than a new microscope camera. But that is something that that I will be at some point in time getting and working on. I believe the reduction is something like 10 millimeters from what I see versus what you see, because I can see so much more. I can see about three times more than what you guys can see in the camera. So this joint right here really does not want cooperate. So we're going to heat it up with hot air. It's the other thing, if you're new to soldering, never be afraid to use your hot air station to assist your iron. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally okay. Some things require more heat. Like right now, I could switch to my bigger tipped iron and not really have the same issues, but I like using my micro pencil more than anything, just due to the precision that it allows me to have when working on things. And I would rather just grab the hot air rework station really quick and warm up the area than use the bigger tip. Because once you start bridging QFNs, it starts to be a real pain in the ass to try and get the bridges to clean up and to get the joints looking like how you want QFN joints. So you can see that, like, even this one here, so this pin right here and this pin right here, they're not really cooperating like all of the other pins. And those pins right there, the solder on those pins could be exactly why this thing here lost video. Now, it's unfortunate because this guy here was probably already having issues, and this is where being a repair shop and testing things and is really important, as well as staying on top of various issues that these machines will have. And that's because if they had recognized that this machine here is a older, I think this is what, a 2012 board is what it is, because U8900, this fault only happens on this board, specifically the 820-3332 board. There are other iterations of this board that they use in later years that don't have this issue, and I believe it was only the 2012 that used this iteration. So they should have been able to recognize that it could potentially have this issue and ask their customers more questions to determine if this was the reason that the customer came in to begin with. To most consumers, no power and no image is going to be the same thing. To most shops, no image, no power, no backlight can be the same thing that don't do board repair. So asking the right questions is more important than anything. And it just by knowing what questions to ask, you're able to, number one, your reputation can precede yourself, as we do it all the time on Facebook, where you'll see people throwing out a ton of, well, you could try, well, maybe it's this, you could try this or that, and instead of just asking, what kind of power is it pulling? With a phone, I can tell. With a phone and iPad, just because those are two things that I've worked on for every day for the past 4 years. For the most part, I can tell just by plugging your device into the wall, roughly what issues it might have. I mean, of course, water damage throws that out of whack and all that type of stuff. But you can tell a whole lot about electronics by how much power they pull from the wall. And so, for example, let's say on an iPhone 7. On an iPhone 7, or any electronics with a main power rail short is going to, any small voltage electronics, right? So, like, let's say a mobile phone, the main power rail, when it's shorted out, it's going to pull 0 amps. It's not really going to pull more. Sometimes it can pull a very, very small amount. But in my experience, it's 0 amps, 0.0000. Sometimes it will flash. You'll get a quick flash of amperage, and then it will go back to 0. So that's going to be indicative of a VCC or a VDD main problem. And that's where we're going to start probing and trying to see if we can figure out what the issue is. Now, on the iPhone 7, they also have a boost circuit called VDD boost. When that goes down, your iPhone will pull 0.42 milliamps. And I've never had a VDD boost short pull anything other than 0.42 milliamps. So just those two things, right? Knowing the amount of power and how the electronics works and things like that can save you a lot. Now, in an iPad, because their circuits tend to be higher voltage and just more power being pumped through the machine, a VDD main or VCC main short will not present itself as 0.000 milliamps. It will present itself at about 400 milliamps. I've had them at about 4.2, 4.3, similar to the VDD boost problem on iPhone 7s, and realistically any one that has that's issue. So iPhone 8 has VDD boost. A lot of the iPhone X's have VDD boost, the XR. So knowing what questions to ask is very, very important. All right, so I'm going to slap this here into the enclosure real quick. We're going to see if this took care of our video issue, and then if it did, then we're going to come back and clean up all of this, that corrosion by that SMC that we saw. Now, again, like little stuff like this. Now, this machine works. Honestly, I don't really need to. I mean, you don't really need to clean up that corrosion. The machine works. It's booting. It's doing what it's supposed to do prior to them replacing the battery and now having no image. I appreciate the follow, man, by the way. It's definitely appreciated. But it comes back to, we're a repair shop. We are professionals. We do this every day. This is what we do for a living, 6-7 days a week. And it separates you from somebody, this may be a hobby, or even other shops out there. Now, we tend to not, and especially publicly, we will never bring down another shop, no matter what the case may be, unless it is something that is unbelievably extreme. There's always situations that you can make exceptions on, but outside of that, you'll never really hear me, and especially name another shop. That's unprofessional. It's bad business. It's not cool. But some other shops might just leave that there and just say, hey, it's working. This is an easy repair. I want to make my money. I want to move on to the next repair, but that's not what we're going to do here. That's not what we do here. It came here for repair, and I feel like it would be an injustice to our customers and just bad business to not go and see that corrosion there and not clean it up and not take care of it. Even if it adds 30 minutes or an hour to the repair. To me, it doesn't matter. And I hope that if you get into electronics and you're watching the stream because you have an interest and maybe you want to start this as a hobby, or you're here to learn and you just started out doing this, maybe you've been doing it a couple months and you're trying to find your way and what works for you, and maybe some of the way that we do things here makes sense and allows you to fix some stuff and make some extra money and get some bills paid. But the biggest thing that I can impress on anybody watching this stream is to go the extra mile when you're working on this stuff. It's like I remember in elementary school, they have those posters that they always put up on the wall. Respect and loyalty and all of those things. And the big one that always kind of stuck with me was the integrity poster. It's not about what you do when people are watching you, including the stream. It's about what you do when no one else is watching you. And what I can assure you guys is that this is what we do always. Always, 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 and what we always will do. Until I'm out of business or close this place or whatever the case may be. I will never be able to sell this place, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, we've tried to start doing, trying to become more of a quote-unquote business. Even right now, I still kind of technically own a job. Because this board would not get fixed if I am not here working. So, and being that we make money by fixing boards, we don't make money off of really screen replacements and stuff like that. It's kind of critical that boards get fixed every day. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe someday I will actually get tired of this, and I will actually want to do something else, or who knows, but it definitely won't be able to sell it. That's for sure. Did not start this place with the intent to sell it like some startups will do. Start it up, get a good valuation, sell it to Microsoft or Amazon or Google or whoever, and be pretty set for the rest of your life. It's not gonna happen here. No siree. Not here. Unless Jeff Bezos decides that he wants to come and fix some fucking motherboards. I don't see it happening. Man, can you just plug your ass in? Get into the hole. How's your day going, Drew? Son of a bitch. I forgot to put the DC in jack. Of course, on this model, they have it on the plug on the bottom side of the board, but that's okay because we're not really, shouldn't really need to charge this. Now, at the same time, too, this could not be a U8900 issue. This could be because of that liquid damage by that SMC. And are you serious? This battery is seriously not charged? Like, seriously? Son of a bitch, man. Why have a dead battery in here? Dagnabbit. Seems like this thing is power cycling, in all honesty. Fuck, I need this fucking DC in jack, that's awesome. God, that's so irritating. This is the boring part of the stream. Especially with Jacob not here, I can't dump everything on him to test today, so I have to, unfortunately, test everything. We'll not be really putting stuff back together. That will be what Jacob will be doing tomorrow, but I might put this MacBook back together just because it's already all right here, but You guys, I know you guys do any sort of 3D printing. You guys like 3D printing? Interested in 3D printing? You guys think I should stream when I'm working on my 3D printers? Well, have you looked at some SLA printers? Because I actually prefer I prefer my SLA printers over my FDMs. I have a total of like 6 printers, 6 or 7 printers, as well as I still have one thing that I've been wanting to work on is a 550 by 50 550 by 550 by 550 custom 3D printer based on a cube design, and I have all of the extrusions for it and all that type of stuff to actually put together the frame and start going through it and doing all that stuff, but it comes down to the time. And don't really have too much time, number one, which really sucks because I really do enjoy fucking with my 3D printers. They're the plastic printers are a lot of fun because of the amount of upgrades that you can do to them. But SLA is in my opinion the best. My Photon Mono takes up next to no space. I mean, if you check it out with the Photon Mono, if you have think of those desks that I mean, I don't know where you went to school and stuff, but a lot of those school desks that have the chair built into it and that type of stuff, right? Like when we were in elementary school, or what's it called, primary school over in the UK? I've always been curious about that. What you guys call, what they call school out over there. I say you guys because Drew. But if you have that amount of space, you can fit that printer. It takes up no space, next to zero space. And then the precision on it is insane. Yeah, yes, I love my SLA printer so much. But for me, it's just the prototyping and the precision. It's really, really convenient to have. You know, I don't need to send stuff off. I don't need to do anything like that. I can put together a file and I can print it out right there on my SLA printer and check it out. As long as you've got some nice clean FEP and you're using decent resin and that type of stuff. What the hell is it? Within the specs of what you're looking for, the tolerances, it prints within the tolerances that you're looking for. It's something like the tolerance on it's very little, and so very high precision, minimal effort, minimal work, to be honest. The hardest part about it is actually cleaning the prints, to be honest, which isn't that hard. They don't really smell either. I mean, I have all my printers here at my shop, because I don't want grubby children fingers touching them and breaking them, and then just the safety concern of children around photopolymeric resin is not something that I want to have go wrong with my kids, right? So. But we use a 5-gallon bucket that is about 2.5 gallons of 99% isopropyl alcohol for cleaning. To remove supports, hot water is 100% the best way to do it. You won't find a better way. You just run it under, and it doesn't have to be like boiling water. The way I explain it to people is you want the water to be uncomfortable on your hands after 30 seconds. So if you're washing dishes and you're, after 30 seconds, you're, oh man, this shit's hot. That's kind of what you want. You don't want it to be so hot that it burns you the second that you put your fingers under it. But once you achieve and get a good flow on that temperature, man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The supports just, they fall off. And then after we take the supports off, it goes into a nice iso bath. We'll of course make sure that we wear gloves, and then we'll actually rub our fingers along every part of the print that we can to get off most of the excess uncured resin. And then we put it into an ultrasonic cleaner to get any resin out of any nooks and notches and things like that, especially if we're looking for precision, right? We want this to be, it can't be sticking out or anything like that. We use it for cases for our macro pads and things like that. So I want to make sure that they're all how they're supposed to be. And then it goes into under a UV lamp on a little rotating table for, I mean, it always depends on your thickness and all that type of stuff, what resin you're using, and there's a lot of variables when it comes down to the final curing process. Because if you over cure it, it'll start to change colors and it can get really brittle. So you don't want to do that. But we have I get this. I use it sometimes over here for curing too, on motherboards and stuff, curing up my UV mask and stuff. So just I have it on this little stand. It's probably about a foot over the print so that the light hits every portion of the print. Generally about a minute on each side of the print, depending on thickness, and again, big amount of variables there. But yeah, that's the big thing there. Once you get that, just like Drew was saying, once you get the process down for curing and cleaning and stuff, it really is. It's unbelievably simple. Way easier than plastic. I mean, I've had to at times drive all the way back to my shop to stop a print on my plastic printer because it's just fucking spaghetti. It is just spaghetti all over the place. All right, so this came to us for no image, and we can see here we have boot, we have chime, and we now have image. So I'm going to move this just because I don't know what information is on here of their customers, and we try to always make sure that we don't share stuff on stream, customer stuff on stream. So and we are booted. It is running off of battery power, like it should. And so, let me see, is there a password on this? I don't see one. That's something I'm gonna have to, are you kidding me? This is something that I'm going to have a conversation with the shop, as it's pretty consistent that they send stuff here without passwords, and that's I don't allow that. I do not allow devices to come here without passcodes at all. We won't work on them. I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care what their reasoning for it is. I don't care. It makes our life harder when we have to sit down and actually try to track down people and get a hold of people to get passcodes for things so that we can do our proper testing. It's a massive waste of time of mine, my employees, and not something we want to do. It's hard because Shay technically works for me, but her ass ain't never here. So you guys, she was here earlier dropping some stuff off, but she gets paid to do some other things that aren't really in the shop. So, so I'm gonna mute myself real quick so I can call this customer and see if he can't get me the passcode. so I can set this thing up for testing, just kind of stress test it, make sure that at the very least the no image problem is taken care of. And then, like I said, we're going to come back in here and clean up that corrosion that was there by that SMC. Make sure that this is going to be a good, long-lasting repair for him. Although I think that, I thought I saw a text the other day. It may have been for this passcode, so let me just check that real quick before calling him. I don't really want to call him on a Sunday. Yeah, that is not the passcode for this specific machine. So I'm going to mute myself really quick. I'm going to make this phone call, see if I can't get a hold of him and get this passcode, and then we'll get back to doing some stuff. I'm not going to clean up the corrosion by that SMC until after this thing is tested, so we might end up coming back to this board tomorrow. That's just not something I want to do. I don't like to do that. And the reason for that is that I don't know what's working right now, right? I have no idea. Audio could not be working. Anything, I mean, in that area, right, around the SMC, there it controls a whole lot of stuff. And at any point, anything could not be working. So I want to make sure we go through and do a good test on it, make sure, see what's working, what's not working. If everything's working beforehand, then we'll test it afterwards, make sure everything was working afterwards, and then send it out. So let me give them a call real quick. I suppose it would help if I had unmuted myself. This is the part that sucks about this. Give me 1 second, Ash. That I have to still do the kind of whole operations portion of all this, and that's adding notes to the account and all that type of stuff. So bear with me here for a minute or two while I take care of all that, make sure I add the notes to what we just worked on and all that type of stuff, and we can move on and doing other things. Here you go, man. What's going on, dude? There you are. Cool. What was that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. Cool. All right, brother. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, man. Well, no, it's on right now, so make sure you disconnect the battery. Yeah, make sure you disconnect the battery, but it was, whoever took the screen off, they fucked some shit up. So, yeah, take the screen off easy. All right, man. Have a good day. It wasn't him that took the screen off, so he's just like just smiling like, oh shit. But that is how it got damaged. Can't really do much, right? Can't really do much there. I mean, not gonna lie to them. This MacBook is such a big boy. 17 inches are just huge, man. They are enormous. They are enormous. I like that. I set up storage bins, and I can even set this thing up to okay, so I do need to okay. I need to go through and set up pre-repair checklists for for the check-ins. So okay. Okay, alright, we'll move on. I'll figure out the rest of that later. I just needed to make sure that I had all of the notes put in here properly for this. So we have display on this. This will now get set to the side until we get the passcode from the customer so that we can go through and test. So let me move this off of my bench. Grab a magnet mat to move these screws with it. And then we're going to grab a different MacBook Air than the one that we were working on yesterday. Or we'll grab this 13-inch, what is this, a 13-inch liquid damaged MacBook, one of these two boards. Another MacBook board, essentially. So, one of them. Do-do-do-do-do. Alright, screws are off my bench. You know what? Yeah, we'll just do this MacBook Air since it's for the same customer. What's next on the repair list? We're gonna do this MacBook Air. So this MacBook, let's see. Issue just says MacBook not charging. So per Jacob's notes, the device has nothing on the charger. There's no light on the charger when you plug it in. It does not boot with the battery plugged in at all. With just the DC in plugged in, he gets fan spin and it boots into the operating system. If unplugged, MagSafe, it turns off. Okay. Let's get this board pulled. They do have a new DC-in plugged in over here. We're still going to test with their own DC-in. But they did replace that already. So she's not running off of battery power, eh? At least these boards are nice and easy to pull. That's one thing that I do like about the MacBook Airs. Their boards are nice and really easy to get up out of the enclosure. not as many screws as the last one that we just worked on. That took fucking 5 minutes just to pull the board. So this here is actually almost out. I've got just to unplug 2 or 3 more things, and the board will be free from its enclosure. And we're gonna try and figure out what the hell is going on. So this is a 820-00165 motherboard. These motherboards kind of suck as they're, I mean, this isn't going to have that type of issue, so we're good in this regards, but these boards kind of suck just due to the fact that they like to have missing PM sleep S4L issues. That can be some deep rabbit holes to travel down, so. Hey, look at this. Look at all these solder balls, man. Something hot as shit. Unfortunately, this is normal on MacBook boards to see solder balls popping out of things just due to the heat and the MacBook enclosure will cause this to happen all the time. So while on many things you'll hear me say that solder balls are going to be a very big help in figuring out the issue, or at least knowing what you damaged, that is not very true on MacBook boards. Oh, they missed. What the fuck? Now, always, before we work on anything, and I know those look weird, but that is how they're supposed to look. So before anybody trips out about those coils, that is very normal, very normal. So we're just looking, is there any liquid damage? Is there anything? That stands out, that's pretty obvious. Alright, so I mean, I don't really see too much that's rearing its ugly head up. Where is my DCN jack? Looks like I might need to order some more. as I don't like having to hunt this garbage down. What the hell is going on? And so what this could be is a case of a bad charge port. So because you can see we have, I don't know if you guys can see that, but we have green light. I mean, we have light right here. So our one wire circuit is A-OK. That's what that's telling me. And at this point, I'm going to toss this into just a whole different enclosure. And we're going to test it in a completely different enclosure to know if we actually really even have an issue with this board. Or if this is just a parts issue, and at which point we let our customer know. It'll go back to them, we'll charge them a diagnostic fee, and everyone's happy. So with stuff like this, we would have to charge a diagnostic fee just due to the amount of time that, pulling the board and all this type of stuff at the end of the day. Even if it takes 5-10 minutes, that could have been 5-10 minutes on a board that actually needed the work, and it is not our responsibility to, it's their responsibility to go through and test these things. It's just how it is. So. And this can happen fairly frequently, especially at a shop with has a bunch of different employees. Unfortunately, no two employees are going to be the same, just like every other industry and anywhere else. And then of course sometimes you just can't trust your parts. Because it looks like they did go through and they did try a new port. A new charger, oh my god, DC and jack. This one here is actually an I/O board because it handles more than just the DC power. It also has a speaker plugged into it and some antennas, but you get the gist. So now I'm just tossing this into a different enclosure. We're going to test it out, see. Is this a battery issue? Is this something in their enclosure that's causing it? Because when Jacob tested this thing out when it first got in here, his initial diagnostic said that there was no light on the charger. We just grabbed another DC in jack and we had light on the charger right away. So. It could very damn well still be an issue, and we're gonna find this out. We are gonna find out. Those of you guys that are in the United States, also, if you didn't know, we went to Krispy Kreme this morning, and Krispy Kreme, at least here at, I don't know what locations they're doing it at and all that stuff, but it was basically buy a dozen of donuts and get a free dozen of donuts. So if you enjoy Krispy Kreme, you might want to go head down there and get some good donuts. Oh, come on. The fucking routing is. That's why. And so, this is not a board issue, as we have this in a different enclosure, and we have, let's see, we'll do it up there. And we have fan spin. I don't have any speakers plugged in, so it's not going to chime, but we also have my test enclosure, the battery. Stupid fucking battery. God damn it, dude. There's no screw in the battery. Son of a fucking bitch. Okay. Not a big deal. That is fucking irritating. That's my own damn fault. Now this board does have an issue. Now we gotta fix it. Why? I could have sworn that I put a battery in that middle fucking screw slot yesterday. That's why I was holding it up like that. I must have moved it after. Yeah, that's what it was late last night. I was sitting there when I was testing. I was testing out the different trackpad cable on that other board and moved it. God damn it, dude. That's alright. It won't take but a few minutes. Fucking retarded. Shit, we could probably... I wonder. I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna replace this, right? But I wonder. Yeah, I bet I could. Actually, shit, to be honest, I'd rather just do it this way. I would rather just re-solder those on. That's gonna be a hell of a lot easier than actually just replace. Okay, or not. God damn, dude. What is up with me right now? Maybe I should go home. Maybe I shouldn't work on Sundays. Maybe my brain is just fat from too much work. Who knows? Okay. What's funny is I actually got a call about that last week from a local guy, that ripped that battery connector off, and now it makes me wonder if he did it in the same exact way that I just did. But probably not. I mean, that was quite a bit of a fucking fluke. I didn't remember that I had pulled that battery, that single screw that I used to hold down the battery when it's in the testing enclosure. Forgot that I had pulled that out. I am dumb. Big dumb. Good as new. Not that big of a deal. Not worried about the plastic on the back of this connector either. If it burns up a little bit from the iron, that's okay. It won't hurt nothing. Just as long as it's soldered on like it should be. Alright, let's go with round 2 testing. Huh? Let's, without Adam being a fucking idiot and ripping the fucking battery terminal off the board. See how that goes. And then actually, what we'll do, because this board really doesn't have any issues, we're gonna put this back in its enclosure and test it with my DC jack. The way that they do these make it such a pain in the ass to get back into the enclosure. you are just tuning in, because I just looked up and saw 6 and it was at 3, I am putting this motherboard back into its enclosure so we can test it out. It seems like this board is actually fine and that it is an enclosure issue, so we're going to figure out what that is. If we have the parts in stock, then we will take care of it and our customer will reimburse us as well as the diagnostic fee on it. If it was a defective part that they swapped out, that they put into the machine, then we'll give them that part back so they can return it and get their money back for it. So we do it this way so that way, one, it prevents them from possibly damaging stuff, going in and trying to replace something, and then two, we're able to fully test it before it leaves to make sure that it does not have, that it really is not a board issue.
Amanda, FaceTime video.
Holy shit. That was very loud.
Amanda, FaceTime audio.
One second, I gotta, my customer text me back. I need the ticket. Okay, get this MacBook tested. Alright. We have chime, we have image, we have backlight, we have boot, trackpad works, keyboard works. I think their battery is also shot, actually. Apple. Make it easy to test batteries in your MacBooks. Now, let's not have a rerun of what just happened, and let's make sure that there's a fucking battery screw holding this thing in. Yep, so it looks like they, this here has a bad battery, as well as a bad DC inject. So this was just a two-fold repair. Alright, so I'm gonna pull my battery out of here and reassemble this machine and send it on its way. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I gotta have a conversation with this customer. Hey, can you send me their tickets? No, we cannot. No, not really. That's kind of, sort of their responsibility. That is okay. Alright, put this hunk of garbage back together and get this thing off my bench. I'm debating on going home after I just let a fucking battery rip off a battery terminal. Not only is that embarrassing as shit on stream, but if I can't remember that I took the screw out of the battery last night, what else am I going to forget? And I'm not a huge fan of working on customer machines when shit like that is going on. I'm not a fan of that at all. just have to go home and call it a night. Maybe play some video games and get my brain right. And come back in here tomorrow and get a bunch of stuff fixed. I'm quite upset with myself right now over letting that happen. Alright, this guy here is reassembled. Yeah, so I'm gonna call this at night. I'm gonna get out of here. That was really frustrating that I just let that happen. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't a big deal, right? I mean, as we saw, it was just resoldering a couple pins, but I mean, that could have gone really south and caused some serious damage to their board. Thanks to me not remembering that I removed a screw out of a battery that was holding it down to the frame last night. So we did take care of that A1398 earlier. This here is happened to be a battery issue and DC and jack or IO board. This was not actual board work, so they're gonna just get billed a diagnostic fee. I don't have any batteries in stock, so they're gonna have to replace that one themselves. So I appreciate everybody tuning in for the stream today. I don't normally we'll be planning to stream on Sundays. This is more of a, I've got a lot of work to do, but I guess I'm just not in the I'm not in the right mindset to do this work right now, and so I'm gonna go home. So appreciate everybody tuning in. We will be streaming tomorrow back to Monday through Saturday and whatnot.